Hi, there's new books coming out in September and October, and I'm excited about some of them, so I thought we should talk about them. I've kind of started doing this like every 2 months. Here's what's coming up books, and I'm excited about some things. It's a way for me to make sure that I'm looking at what is due out and paying attention to NetGalley since I started using it again, of being like, what do I need to read in the next like couple of weeks ish so that I can do my reviews. So when you're seeing this, it is the first couple weeks of August. And we're going to talk about what's coming out in September and October. Most of these are arcs that I have on NetGalley or are available through NetGalley. I kind of searched through there, and some other things that I know are coming up that I've been keeping an eye on and that I've seen people talking about. So I've just picked 15 books. It's not going to be a ton. It's not every book that's coming out because there are a lot, but I picked 15. Some are by very popular authors, some are debuts, and some are books I have not seen anywhere other than NetGalley and I know are from independent publishers. So this should hopefully be a range of things. Pretty much the things that I read are fantasy, science fiction, and horror. So these are all fantasy, science fiction, and horror releases. I don't have any romance or romantasy or young adult on here because I just don't tend to read them. So this is a very specific list that if you find yourself liking things that I like, you might enjoy this list. If you're not sure if you like things I like, you can go check out the taste test video that I did. That was a really fun tag, and you can watch this and then watch that and see if you like the same things. So 15 books. We're going to start in September. Let me get comfortable. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the author and the title and a little bit of the synopsis. Some of these I remember what's supposed to happen in them, and some of them I have absolutely no idea. So, September 9th, You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White comes out. I'm looking forward to this one. I have a interesting... I didn't really like Hell Followed With Us. I thought it could have been better, but I understand it was a debut and it was written when he was a teenager. And then I ended up temporarily DNFing The Spirit Bears Its Teeth because I just didn't really like the audio narrator. I do want to finish this one. But again, these were YA, and I'm also not great with being like very invested in YA. The Spirit Bears Its Teeth is probably more in line. I was really enjoying the story, but the audio narrator's voice was grating on me. So I want to try him again. I want to give Andrew Joseph White another chance, and this one sounds like one that I will like. And I believe this one is supposed to be adult. Yeah, this one does not have the YA tag on it, so I think it might be a little bit more for me. This is under Simon & Schuster. They have it listed as a horror, as an alien contact fiction. So the synopsis says, festering masses of worms and flies have taken root in dark corners across Appalachia in exchange for unwavering loyalty and fresh corpses. These hives offer a few struggling humans salvation, a fresh start. It's an offer that none refuse. Crane is grateful. Among his hive's followers, Crane has found a chance to transition, to never speak again, to live a life that won't destroy him. He even met Levi, a handsome ex-Marine brutal killer who treats him like a real man, mostly. But when Levi gets Crane pregnant and the hive demands the child's birth no matter the cost, Crane's desperation to make it stop will drive the community that saved him into a devastating spiral that can only end in blood. You Weren't Meant to Be Human is a deeply personal horror, a visceral statement about the lives of marginalized people in a hostile world, echoing the works of Stephen Graham Jones and Eric LaRocca. So, pregnancy horror, trans horror, alien horror, Appalachia. Like, it should be really interesting. I'm like I said, I'm excited about all of these. So, the next one is actually one that I have a physical arc of. I won a Goodreads competition for the physical arc. So that's The Maiden and Her Monster. This one also comes out September 9th. This is by Maddie Martinez. I believe this is a debut as well. So the back of the book says, as the healer's daughter, Malka has seen how the curse of the woods has plagued her village, but when the Osmini church comes to collect their tithes, they don't listen to the warnings about a monster lurking in the trees. After a clergy girl wanders too close to the forest and Malka's mother is accused of her murder, Malka strikes a bargain with a zealot Osmini priest. If she brings him the monster, he will spare her mother from execution. When she ventures into the blood-soaked woods, Malka finds a monster, though not one she expects, an inscrutable, disgraced golem who agrees to implicate herself, but only after Malka helps her free the imprisoned rabbi who created her. But a deal easily made is not easily kept, and as their bargain begins to unravel, a much more sinister threat protecting her people may force Malka to endanger the one person she left home to save, and face her growing feelings for the very creature she was taught to fear. I'm really struggling to read for some reason. So this comes out September 25th. It is tagged on the back as adult fantasy. Back in there. Then we're moving a couple weeks out to September 23rd, where I have The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino, and I do have this one on NetGalley as well. I picked this one because it was a read now, and a friend of mine had said that it was getting them Gideon vibes, and I was like, I always love anything that people are like, Gideon vibes, right? Oh my gosh, what is this? What is happening? Anyway, oh, don't die on me. Okay, so Gray Flynn has dedicated her life to her mage Kier. She will be his blade on the battlefield, his healer and protector. The deep well of raw power inside her is Kier's to use. Gray would do anything for Kier, be anything for him, if he would only ask. When a quest to protect the child of an enemy kingdom pulls them into the dangerous heart of their nation's war, Gray and Kier will need to decide what they are willing to sacrifice to protect their secret. For Gray is no ordinary magical well, but heir to the lost island of Locke, the root of all power. If she dies, magic dies with her. Lady Night. Lady Night. The cover is stunning. Everyone who's read it is like, oh my god, this is so good. So hopefully I am one of those people. September 30th, we have a group of things that come out September 30th. So I have picked a few. What Stalks the Deep by T. Kingfisher is the third book in the Alex Easton series. I think it's called the Sworn Soldier series. So I read the first one and I loved it. I love the Dark Mushroom vibes. So good. I really enjoyed the second one, but I was also like, does this need to be a series? But also if there's a third one, I will read it. This third one, we're meeting up with another character from the original band. So Alex is going to the United States, to Appalachia. Everything is like coming up Appalachia lately. We are entering an old coal mine and we are meeting up with the doctor from the first book. That's mostly what I remember. I don't want to read the whole synopsis because it's a sequel and it's short. It's a novella. So that is coming out. It has a very stunning cover. I love the cover. I love this artist so much. They've done another cover, The Deading, which I loved that cover, but hated that book. Anyway, this one is The Witch of Willow Sound by Vanessa F. Penny. This is by a small publisher in Canada. I believe this is the same publisher for Grey Dog. They emailed me and they were like, hey, would you want to read another book published by us? Yes, it's ECW Press. They're like, you really liked Grey Dog and you rated it. Do you want to read another book by us? So they sent me the opportunity to read this. And I was like, you know what? If you're going to ask me, let's fucking go. And the cover, again, look at this cover. Look at this cover. It's so gorgeous. So this is for readers of Our Wives Under the Sea and The Once and Future Witches. And I love both those books. Our Wives Under the Sea is one of my top books. I loved it. So as soon as I saw that line, I was like, yes, I will read your book. A spooky, atmospheric, and fast-paced feminist tale about women called witches and the parts of our history we'd rather forget. Madeline is missing. Ordered to find her, Madeline's estranged niece Fade must return to the lonely forest of Willow Sound, Nova Scotia. There, Fade discovers her aunt's once cozy cottage empty and rotting. The ominous smell of something burnt hangs in the air. In her search for answers, Fade clashes with the people of Grand T, a nearby village struggling under the shadow of a massive looming rock that could tip and crush them at any time. For generations, they've invented bizarre lore about Madeline, calling her a witch and blaming her for their misfortunes. They've had more misfortunes than ever lately, and a hurricane is coming. Inspired by real East Coast traditions and witch lore, The Witch of Willow Sound is a modern Gothic tale that explores family lost and found and throws firelight on dark truths about what societies do with people and the past they don't want. I'm excited to read this one. And then we have Orpheus Builds a Girl by Heather Perry. This is also a debut, and I saw this one in NetGalley too. I think this is another small publisher one. Steerforth and Pushkin from Pushkin Press. I never heard of that publisher, so a smaller publisher. This is horror and women's fiction, and it's got a pink cover. So this one, I feel like this is a different cover than I originally saw it with, but I don't remember. I just remember reading the synopsis and was like, ooh, that sounds good. So this one says, based on a gruesome true story, this is a compelling, horrifying, and heartbreaking debut novel of sisterly love, sinister obsession, and the battle to control and challenge a perpetrator's twisted version of events. Wilhelm von Tor is dying. As he looks back on his life, he reflects on his youth in Dresden, his grandmother, and his medical career during World War II, but mostly he remembers his darling Lucy, the dark-haired beauty promised to him years before they met. Though only together for a few months in her first life, Wilhelm knows their love is written in the stars, and he ensures that death is only the beginning. But through the cracks in Wilhelm's story, there is another voice, that of Gabriella, and she will not let this version of events go unchallenged. She tells instead the story of her fearless sister Luciana and the madman who robbed her from her grave. Creepy yet intensely gripping, sinister yet shot through with mesmerizing beauty, this is the debut novel from Heather Parry, a rising literary star of the genre, long listed for the Polari First Book Prize. So, this sounds like it's gonna be really literary, but I think it's got resurrection, it's got drama. I think it'll be good. And then, of course, we have The Sovereign by C.L. Clarke. This is the third book in the Magic of the Lost series. I am not going to read the synopsis because I have a feeling it is going to spoil the first two books. I think I glanced at it and it does. And I don't want to spoil it if you have not read it. I also don't really want to know going into it exactly what it is. And I know that's like, why would I be talking to you about this? I won a digital ARC from Goodreads. I entered it and I won, and I am still shocked, and I am going to start it sometime soon. I am so excited for this series. Let me tell you briefly about what the Magic of the Lost series is. If you have not read it, this starts with The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. I saw a bigger YouTuber recently say that this sounded like a mystery or something type thing to them, or a spy novel. It's not. So this is a flintlock fantasy. So we're in the era of guns rather than the era of dragons, but flintlock guns, right? And it is kind of inspired by the occupation of North Africa by France. So our main character is from the occupied country called Khazali. Her name is Terrain, and I am obsessed with her. She is a badass warrior woman who has a lot of PTSD and trauma. So she was kidnapped as a child to become part of this conscripted army. She was stolen and raised in the military to support the country that occupied her. And for a fluke reason, she gets to go back to her home country, where she has to try and grapple with her two identities and figure out where she is and who she is in the middle of a revolution. In part of that, she does fall in love with her colonizer. And I think C.L. Clarke handles that in an interesting way, where we continue to view Luca, the princess of the Empire, which I can't remember the name of the Empire for some reason right now, of Fantasy Brands. We're continuing to view her through a very critical lens throughout the entire thing. And is it her fault? Is there a redemption? Does that matter to Terrain? And how does Terrain feel about being part of these two countries and grappling with the rift that has caused between her and her mother? So that's kind of some of what's happening. I am obsessed with the audio versions of this book. I think the audio narrator is fantastic. So this will be my first read of it physically with my eyeballs. And then I'm going to get the audio when it comes out. Like, I will be reading that book. I love the colors of the covers, because they go yellow, green, red. And this cover, I saw someone on Goodreads was like, I need both Terrain and Luca on the cover. And then when C.L. Clarke revealed the cover, she replied to them and was like, how are we feeling now about that request? Because this is the cover. So hilarious. But anyway, looking forward to seeing what happens and how C.L. Clarke continues to deal with the complicated nature of this story. We're into October now, so that's the end of September, right? Yep, end of September. So we're into October now. This is book number 8. This is A Mouthful of Dust by Nevo. This is a continuation of the Singing Hills cycle. I believe this is book 6, and this one has cats on the cover. Here's a synopsis. Wandering cleric Chi of Singing Hills and their Hoopoe companion, Almost Brilliant, come to the river town Baolin, chasing stories of legendary famine. Amid tales of dishes served to royalty and desserts made of dust, they discover the secrets of what happens when hunger stalks the land and what the powerful will do to hide their crimes. Trapped in the mansion of a sinister magistrate, Chi and Almost Brilliant must learn what happened in Baolin when the famine came to call, and they must do so quickly because the things in the shadows are only growing hungrier. The Singing Hills cycle has been shortlisted for a Lambda Award, blah, blah, blah. The novellas are standalone stories linked by Cleric Chi and been maybe read in any order, which I've found is pretty true. Like, it's a serial. It's not really I guess it's not really a serial is what I'm trying to say. It's I love that Almost Brilliant is back in this one. I'm very excited. I love the ones that Almost Brilliant are in. All right, and then we have A Door on the Sea by Caskey Russell, and I just saw this one today when I was looking real quick. This is printed by Rebellion, an imprint of Solaris. This is a general fiction, multicultural interest sci-fi fantasy. The cover got me, and I was like, ooh, that is a really cool cover. I like the indigenous artwork and the colors on it and stuff. So I was like, oh, what's this? So let's read the little synopsis because this sounds like it's going to be interesting. This is the start of a series, and it says to save his home, he'll have to leave it behind. This is an epic quest fantasy debut inspired by Tlingit folklore and culture for fans of the Earthsea cycle and Black Sun. When Elan trapped a salmon-stealing raven in his cupboard, he never expected it would hold the key to saving his people from the shape-shifting Koosh invaders plaguing their shores. In exchange for its freedom, the raven offers a secret that can save Elan's home. The Koosh have lost one of their most powerful weapons, and only the raven knows where it is. Elan is tasked with captaining a canoe crewed by an unlikely team, including a human bear cousin, a massive wolf, and an endlessly vulgar raven. To retrieve the weapon, they will face stormy seas, cannibal giants, and a changing world. But Elan is a storyteller, not a warrior. As their world continues to fall to the Koosh, and alliances are challenged and broken, Elan must choose his role in his own epic story. It's 450 pages, so it was longer than I thought it might be for some reason. The way the description went, it sounded like it might be shorter for some reason to me. But yeah, so this is, I believe, a debut author as well, but I can't remember. It has, the early reviews on NetGalley look really good. There's 22 reviews and it has an average of 4 stars. And a lot of people are talking about how much they love it. So I'm very curious to give this one a go. And then moving on to October 14th, we have Veal by Mackenzie Nolan, which I also have a arc of this one. This was kind of what got me started reading, like requesting a NetGalley again. This is ECW Press again. They had sent me an email about this one too. They were like, this one sounds like something you might like based on your review of Grey Dog. So this one is by, Mackenzie Nolan. I liked the cover of this one too, not as much as Witch Sound. All right. Dolores Lawrence Franklin is a failed capitalist and runaway head case. Following a corporate meltdown, she decides to start fresh in Mistaken Point, a small town known for 2 things: Mistaken Point University, where she and her best friend Anastasia Lanes are now enrolled, and the grisly murders of countless young women. At her new part-time arcade job, Lawrence meets Francesca, Frankie Dolores, gritty, off-putting, and chronically serious, as opposite to Lawrence as her name would suggest. Soon Lawrence discovers Frankie is convinced there's a monster on the loose, a patchwork creature born of hatred and responsible for the supposedly solved string of violence haunting the town. Against the advice of Frankie's closest friend, Pippa, Lawrence and Stasia join Frankie in a sticky summertime search for a yellow-eyed monster between classes, shifts at the arcade, and eating popsicles by the pool. Motivated by her unquenchable attraction to Frankie, Lawrence allows herself to be pulled in strange directions, trying to appease Frankie's mania. Though the trials of hunting a monster only some of them believe in, Pippa, Lawrence, Stasia, and Frankie discover truths about womanhood, relationships, and reliability of urban legends. So again, this one sounds like a little bit more of a literary horror, but I have really been digging those lately. Okay, October 16th. This is another one that I have only seen on NetGalley, and I was like, you know, this sounds like it could be really interesting. This is a short story collection called The Other Shore Stories by Rebecca Campbell. This is a sci-fi fantasy lit-fic collection and horror as well, apparently, so it kind of melds the genres together. From the 2023 Ursula K. Le Guin Prize for Fiction comes a short story collection that radiates from the dark forests of the Pacific Northwest. Do you see why I was interested in it? I'm always looking for Pacific Northwest horror. In 10 Tales, Rebecca Campbell's exquisite prose channels ancient forest spirits, the lost ghosts of unknown fates, biological and technological transformations, and challenges the ways that colonization and extraction have shaped not only the landscape, but how we imagine the future. Campbell zeroes in on horrors and hopes, readying readers for the world to come. So there's not a lot of information on this, but I liked the cover, I liked the concept. Climate fiction. Yeah. All right, The Island in the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri. So I have an arc of this one as well. In an England fueled by stories, the knight and the witch are fated to fall in love and doom each other over and over, the same tale retold over hundreds of lifetimes. Simran is a witch of the woods, Vinna is a knight of the queen's court, and when the two women begin to fall for each other, how can they surrender to their desires when to give in is to destroy each other? As they seek a way to break the cycle, A mysterious assassin begins targeting tales like theirs. To survive, the two will need to write a story stronger than the one that fate has given to them. But what tale is stronger than The Knight and the Witch? I'm so excited. This one is, I believe, Sapphic. And then we have The Cathedral of the Drowned, also comes out the same day. This is the sequel to The Crypt of the Moon Spiders that I read last year. This is by Nathan Ballingred. This is a novella. The first one was only less than 100 pages. It was very short. I really enjoyed it. This is the continuation of that story, so we'll see if it spoils anything. There are two halves of Charlie Duchamp's brain. One is in a jar, stranded on Jupiter's jungle moon. Lo, who just wants to go, or Io. I hate fonts that don't differentiate between a lowercase L and a capital I. Io, who just wants to go home to the woman he loves. The other half is locked in his body, hanging from a wall in Barrowfield home on Earth's own moon. Host to the eggs of the moon spider and filled with a murderous rage. On Io, deep in the flooded remains of a crashed cathedral ship, lives a giant centipede called the Bishop, who has taken control of the drowned astronaut clergy inside. Both Charlies converge here, stalking each other in the haunted ruins, while more moon spiders prepare to be born. I don't remember the names of Jupiter's moons, otherwise I would have known that was Io. Yeah. That's a thing. Okay. Bug horror, giant bug horror. As someone who's not good with spiders, I really enjoyed Crypt of the Moon Spider. It was creepy enough. I am not I don't like seeing spiders on screens. I will get goosebumps and be very uncomfortable, but I love reading spider horror because it creeps me out. Okay. This one is one I also just saw on NetGalley today, and I did request this one. This is Psychopomp and Circumstance by Eden Royce. This is published by Tor. This is published by Tor.com, and I love Tor.com books. The cover of this is what drew me in, and then I was like, Psychopomp and Circumstance? Pomp and Circumstance? So this, I believe, is a debut as well. This is it's an adult debut, so this writer has written other things before. So, Shirley Jackson and Nebula Award finalist Eden Royce pens a Southern Gothic historical fantasy story of a contentious funeral in her adult fiction debut. Fee St. Margaret is a daughter of the Reconstruction, born to a family of free black business owners in New Charleston, coddled to within an inch of her life by a mother who refuses to let her daughter live a life other than the one she dictates. Fee yearns to demonstrate she's capable of more than simply marrying well. When word arrives that her Aunt Cleo, long estranged from the family, has passed away, Fee risks her mother's wrath to step up and accept her role of Pomp, the highly honored duty of planning funeral service. Traveling alone to the town of Horizon and her aunt's unsettling home, Fee soon discovers that visions and shadows beckon from every reflective surface, and that some secrets transcend the borders of life and death. Yeah, I love Gothic books. So I was not gonna see that one and be no, that one sounds really good. And then the last one I have on the list is an arc that I also got asked if I wanted because I liked C.G. Drew's first book, which was Don't Let the Forest In. Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. This is another YA forest rot horror, and I love it. So this comes out, I think I said already, October 28th, so near Halloween. Which is about the same time the last one came out too, and I read it right before it. It was perfect vibes. Evander has lived like a ghost in the forgotten corners of Hazelthorn Estate ever since he was taken in by his reclusive billionaire guardian, Byron Lennox Hall, when he was a child. For his safety, Evander has been given 3 ironclad rules to follow. He can never leave the estate, he can never go into the gardens, and most importantly, he can never again be left alone with Byron's charming, underachieving grandson, Laurie. The last rule has been in place ever since Laurie tried to kill Evander 7 years ago, and yet somehow Evander is still obsessed with him. When Byron suddenly dies, Evander inherits Hazelthorn's immense Gothic mansion and acres of sprawling grounds, along with the entirety of Lennox Hall family's vast wealth. But Evander's sure his guardian was murdered, and Laurie may be the only one who can help him find the killer before they come for Evander next. Perhaps even more concerning is how the overgrown garden is refusing to stay behind its walls, slipping its vines and spores deeper into the house with each passing day. As the family's dark secrets unravel alongside the growing horror of their terribly alive, bloodthirsty garden, Evander needs to find out what he's really inheriting before the garden demands to be fed once more. So, does that not sound like some really good forest rot horror? So, that's 15 things that I'm excited about that are coming up, that are out. A lot of them I have access to currently, which is a very big privilege, and I feel like I'm not going to get them all read in time, but I've been doing pretty good so far. So let me know which one of these you're excited about, what sounds good to you, what you want to read. If any of them sound awful, tell me that as well. I don't mind. So thanks for hanging out with me, listening to some great books that are coming up, and I'll see you soon with something else.